So if you haven't seen this already, this is the FlipFest GitHub repository. So in addition to the Hacker Earth page, we have this repo to store the backlog of all of the bounties that are up for Build-a-thon. So I'm just going to run through them and kind of give a quick update of what people are doing, and I'll highlight some of the issues that are still available to be claimed in case anybody watching is interested in jumping in. So if you're curious to see just at a glance where things are at, we have this FlipFest Team Progress project in GitHub. So if you open it up, we are tracking basically the status of every single ticket. So you can see here, there's still 11 in the backlog. I believe we started with 26 or 27. And then for each ticket that's been approved, move it into the approved column. So each of these has at least one team that's working on it. But in some cases, there are multiple teams working on the same issue. Especially in the case of the Flow SDK, I think we have about 5 different SDKs in different languages under development, which is really awesome to see. And then the process for completing an issue, depending on the tier level, there's 1 to 4 milestones you have to go through. And to complete each milestone, you just have to open a pull request in this repository, more or less to just notify us that you're working on it and letting us know where your progress is at. And then we track the milestones in these 4 columns here. So if you're doing a tier 3 issue, those ones are the lowest in complexity, and they all have only 1 milestone. Tier 2 is the next level up. Those have between 2 and 3 milestones. And then tier 1, those are the most complex. They have the highest bounties, and those all have 4 milestones. Cool. So do a quick run through the issue list. Start with the NFT metadata issue because it has quite a bit of activity. So for this one, the problem statement is more or less to bring an NFT metadata standard to Flow. There's been a lot of discussion about this almost for the past year at this point. There's a separate GitHub issue on the Cadence NFT repository with, I think it has over 100 comments at this point. But there were a lot of good ideas in there about how to attach data to NFTs that describes what that NFT is. So that could be images or text or videos, really any kind of data that makes up the digital composition of that NFT. But we wanted to make sure that as more and more NFTs launch on Flow, there's a standardized way to represent that metadata that makes it easy for a variety of applications to consume NFTs, whether they are wallets or marketplaces, or really any app at all. We think that having a consistent standard is really a core piece of composability. Otherwise, if you were building an application that wanted to display NFTs on Flow, you might have to write custom code for every NFT project, which is no good. But we also want it to be flexible enough that developers can sort of describe their NFTs and using whatever type of data they want. So if it was too restrictive, that would be bad too. So that was kind of the general problem statement. So right now, there are 2 main teams working on this. If you're curious, jump in here, take a look at the milestones. The deliverable here is to submit a Flow improvement proposal that describes the standard. That's sort of the first milestone, and then the second is to actually implement it and have some examples. So yeah, if you got thoughts about this or you just want to see the activity, definitely go and check it out. Another one to highlight is the SDK issue. So this one's a bit special because it's more open-ended. We're not looking for one specific SDK in a certain language. This ticket's actually open for anybody who wants to build a new SDK um, in a new language on Flow. That being said, we have listed languages that we've classified as tier 1 submissions. Those are all here, but it's basically, this is based off of requests we've gotten from developers on Flow, and it more or less maps to some of the most popular languages that are used worldwide right now. But even if you're not building a brand new SDK, you can still contribute to existing SDKs and claim a tier 2 bounty with this issue. In that case, the deliverable is just to improve that SDK with new features to bring it up to spec with the SDK guidelines that we published. Yeah, so that's linked right here. But yeah, once again, if you just want to see the SDKs that are coming, take a look through the comments here. One really cool thing is that there were 3 separate people interested in building a Swift SDK, and they actually all joined together in one team, which is like, warms my heart to see that this collaboration. Yeah. So you should see some awesome Swift stuff coming soon. We got Ruby, we got Rust, we got Python, C++, which I'm personally pretty excited about because I think that unlocks some really interesting applications. Oh, we got 2 C++ submissions. I'll have to talk to those teams and see if they want to work together. And then the last one I'll highlight, I think is pretty interesting. So, sorry, where did it go? Yeah, this event indexing service. So we noticed that lots of applications were implementing sort of event watching services that would sort of watch for events on Flow and then funnel those into their Flow application. And that's such a common problem that we figured it would make a lot of sense for there to be a tool that handles that in a more generic way. And we got a lot of interest from a number of teams here, including most recently the Grapple team. So Grapple actually runs kind of a hosted version of this functionality already, so it's really cool to see them jumping in on the open source efforts. But yeah, I'll leave it there for now. If you're curious to take a look, just go to this repo. All the issues are here. You can see the status of whether or not it's claimed by just opening up the issue. But there are a number of CLI tickets as well as FCL features that haven't been claimed. I think some work on the playground if you want to do kind of front end React work. And then there should be there was oh yeah, there's this this new one here from a team called Ichi. They're actually sort of a third-party team that is joining efforts with us as part of the Build-a-thon. They want to bring their branded dollar solution to Flow. You can read more about it here, but it's basically a stablecoin alternative that lets you kind of like easily launch a token, a stable token that's unique to your project. I think it's a pretty cool solution. But yeah, I will leave it there and happy to take any questions.